Disclaimer: the information and education material contained herein is meant to promote the general understanding and dialogue of GANs processing. Such information is not meant or intended to serve as a substitute for a healthcare professional's clinical training, experience, or judgment. For patients and individuals,
the information and education
material contained herein is meant to promote the general understanding and dialogue of GANs processing. For medical issues or concerns, including decisions about medications and other treatments, readers, viewers, listeners should always consult their physician or, in serious cases, seek immediate assistance from emergency personnel. Prescription information, procedures, and use of medical devices information should be undertaken only by properly trained and certified medical personnel. We specifically disclaim any warranties, express or implied, including implied warranties of merchantability or fitness for a particular purpose. Such information is provided, as is, and is believed to be accurate at the time of its publishing, but it is the viewer's job to evaluate the accuracy of any information found in this presentation. Every case presented is of their own experience, applied by themselves for themselves, and it applies to their case only. Every person experiencing health problems should seek professional medical advice and consult their course of treatment with a doctor. The processes of plasma balancing described herein are a natural process which supports the body but does not replace medical advice or therapies one is already subject to.
It's time for change to move into the real work of the universe. And it's time to understand that we use the matter state to reach the level of understanding of the soul of the man. Now you understand maybe why the Creator has sent His messengers in the name of whatever you have had. Is that they bring the ears, that it can be used when the time of the Messiah comes. They can teach the soul and the message, not to oppose, but by them understanding through those who have become messiahs to give from their souls to these to elevate, the job is made easy. The school is there and the students are devotedly there. Then there won't be any fight between what they call the Muslims and the Christians. The lamb and the lion will eat and sleep in the same nest. The Christians and the Muslims will sleep and pray in the mosque and in the same church in the name of their souls, not in the name of religion that is used to create so much conflict for the benefit of those who were the hyperactive children. The time has come, the time of change is here. And as I said, my wish is my command. If it's your wish to see peace, the path of peace is laid very clearly. It's the soul of the collective awareness by giving will create that position of change. No other thing. There is no pen in the soul of the man. And I'm sure once you go into the universal community, you will never see anything written but the balance of the fields of the soul of the existence. Try to be humble enough not to become arrogant in the power that you have understood and you possess. Otherwise, you'll fall in the same path of the church and the mosque. This is what we promised. And this is what we have delivered. We have to understand the operation of the soul, and we have to understand the soul of the man is a star in the cosmos of the universe. If we compare the soul of the man and many of us, 7 billion in one collection, Earth is like a galaxy with so many stars. When we look in the depth of the universe, we see galaxies with hundreds of millions of stars in it. So is the planet Earth. It carries 7 billion beautiful stars, which are the soul of the man. Carries with it soul of so many trillions of animals, plants, and everything else. So if you look, when someone who does not see the physicality of the Earth and its content, what do they see? They see a galaxy with so many beautiful lights shining, each one according to their strength, each one according to their position. An infant has a beautiful soul, so has the old man. To those who do not see the physical dimension of this planet, but they see the strength of the field, we are clusters of stars. The human race, every single soul, no one from a distance sees that's the soul of a fisherman, that's the soul of the cosmologist, that's the soul of a president. They all shine irrespective of the physicality. This is the magic. This is what the new science has to bring to man. When we look to our soul, we see nothing but a star in the other souls. And this is the break. This is the understanding. This is what all these teachings are about. Coming to mature to the next level, to understand in the deep space, the universe is the oyster for those souls who serve. Then man is ready to go into space. Then man is ready to become part of the universal community which has been promised. I never promised you heaven. I always promised you the elevation of the man to join the family. And now you have the key. It's you who has to open the door to understand, if I can raise the soul of these people or millions of other souls, that the physical life on this planet changes, then I'm worthy to be part of the universal community. To be there to serve, to expand. To be there, to be part, that in the cycle of life of universe, I become, in being part, I become part of the totality. When man reaches that point, a new dimension in the strength of the soul of the man will appear, which is beyond imagination of understanding of the physical life. It's the gate to the opening of the new life, in a new dimension, which is beyond imagination of what you might call a new beginning, a new cycle. Which that cycle carries with itself the origin of the creation of life in the universe. It's the elevation of the soul to serve become the key, not a throne of the physical life. The time is right. The time has come for the man to go through this process.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 350th One Planet, One Nation, One Race for Justice and World Peace here on Tuesday, October 29th, 2024. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation, Spaceship Institute, Education Department, and part of the public teachings in English. My name's Rick Cremond, and I will be host once again in this weekly series of wonderful broadcasts with members and support members of the Universal Council. And I believe we're ready to begin with today's workshop. So let me get that set up here, and we will begin.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Rick, can you hear me properly? Because I had a problem with internet before. Is it okay now?
Yes, we see,
Perfect.
hear you okay.
Perfect. Perfect. Good timing. I just want to introduce myself. My name is Stefania, and I'm representative of the Italian language from the Universal Council. I just want to say welcome to everyone to be here for 350 of One Planet, One Nation, One Race. As you know, we meet here every week, but I just said for the people who are new. So if you're new, welcome. I'm gonna give a brief summary of the last workshop that we had with Mr. Keshe. So if you're new, and if you're old, you have to listen this every week. Every Thursday we have Mr. Keshe giving knowledge, sharing knowledge for free, and it's in YouTube. You can go into YouTube and just Google the number of go into YouTube, and then you search for the last workshop. And the last workshop was the 561. I cannot stress enough to all of you to really I know it's everyone is going on life and we're all busy, but if you're free, you're lucky. If you got a lot of time, you're lucky. But please make time to go on and listen the workshop of 561, because Mr. Keshe every week gives a new knowledge. So we have to stay up with it. We're developing as we speak. So you got only 1 week to release in the workshop many times if you're lucky enough, and go deeper on the study, and then take the new knowledge the following week. I have to say it true, I'm sometimes struggling to stay behind, but we're a lot in the Keshe Foundation, and there are a lot of language group that you can join through your language. So you can be Italian all over the world. For example, I live in England, and you can join the Italian Keshe Foundation official Telegram chat, and you can look up your from your language. You can look up your like Brazilian, like Spanish. You can look up your own group. And we separated with the language because, a matter of fact, there is a truth in it where you will find it easier to get in knowledge on your own language. But we're all connected. We have a public workshop like today, like now, and we got a private workshop where you can become a student in the Spaceship Institute. You just apply online, you do application. It's very cheap, very super cheap. €100 per year. I repeat, €100 per year. Very cheap. I'm sure you don't find anything this cheap as a training. And you will be able to access all archives of all the teaching since the beginning, private teaching. There are a lot of stuff Mr. Keshe doesn't say it in public, just because we don't want to get into trouble. So there are a lot of knowledge there. And then you will be able, with Mark, with other knowledge seeker, join the workshop, private workshop. So they have different research study going on. Maybe Mark can tell more afterwards. But let's go, because we always have short time and we always run out of time. So we're going to try to stay in the 2 hours gap if we can, because some people translate these in their own language. So the longer is the workshop, is harder for the volunteer to translate. So we always need a volunteer. For example, in the Italian group, we are so short of volunteers. So please for translating. Let's get started. So the 561 again was another mind-blowing workshop. Mind-blowing. So Mr. Keshe start a kind of a new era of teaching. So that's why I'm really stress you. If you up to now you done the guns, you play with the magraphs, now everything getting to the next level, and then you have to kind of join everything together like a puzzle. So don't miss the last knowledge because it's very, very important. So last week, Mr. Keshe went really again continues the talk about the schizophrenic life. So as you remember in the past workshop, Mr. Keshe said that a human being live a schizophrenic life. So what does it mean? Means that we are connecting to the universe 24/7. A part of us is connected with the universe, and a part of us is connected to Earth, to your daily life. So everyone knows your daily life, your work, your family, your friends, and, struggling, going to, pay some bills. Other people maybe don't struggle. They are very in abundance. Everyone is doing his normal day during this day life on Earth. But now we get to know that a part of us is also connected to 24/7 with the universal side. And in the past workshop, if you didn't see it, please go and watch them because they're relating to this workshop. And it's going really in detail of what amino acid is. And he divided amino acid, when he talk about schizophrenic life, he divided amino acid in two parts. And he put the carbon, the corn. So if you've been with us a long time, the amino acids, the corn. So it's carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. So it's going to the carbon and the hydrogen, like the part that connect us to the universe. And the oxygen, the nitrogen, he described it like in this workshop, he go more details, he described like, he give us the energy of the matter state that reacting with the atmosphere, you can get the guns of the calcium, potassium, and all element of the matter state that then they go materialize into a physical state that make everything is around you, what everything is around you and what everything is inside you. But also he said that we got a part of us that is connected with the universe, and this referring again to the carbon and to hydrogen. So the hydrogen, and it said you can tell because the man, for example, the most fuel is sugar, and the main sugar that we learn is the CH3. So if you remember, we learned the CH3 as a first also first way to make guns of CH3. So that is again carbon and hydrogen. So it's going really into more in details. I cannot say it properly enough on this carbon and hydrogen. How important is the connection between the universal side and the material side, and it comes from the carbon and this carbon, and it's carbon 60. But before of this, he talked a lot into free energy. So he started the workshop by going to the fact that that we as human beings, we're still depending on the natural resource of Earth. And this is not really good because it really limits us. The natural resources are not forever. They're not, they limit us on what we can do or how much we can live. And he said that, all the wars that there are today are for petrol, for natural resources, for gold, gas, and so he said that you guys, you're still connected to depending from natural resource to survive. And this is it's cannot go on like this forever. So he talked about a new era. He took the real free energy, because at the moment, what we perceive as a free energy, we perceive like a solar panel or electric car, but they're not really free energies because we're still depending of natural resources. We're still polluting. Is actually false free energy. So he said that now we're going to start a new era. He said, unfortunately, with the because there is all this, we all depending of money and power. We got a problem here. We got the science that a lot of time has got untrue base. And we had false scientists, and he mentioned Newton. He mentioned like Steve Hawkins, that he stole the patent of the black hole. And he said this fake scientists, they spread a false science around that slaving us on going forward, on really move on the true science of the universe. And he make explain the example like the earth and the sun, and he said, look, the earth and the sun, do they have a motor? Do they have a fuel? Do they have a limited life expectancy? Life, the earth has been rotating for millions of years, the sun as well, and then he talks also that the sun is feeding the earth, constantly, 24/7, non-stop, endless. Why we cannot do the same? Why we cannot also get fed like the sun if we are come from the universe? We are not, we are, the earth is floating on the universe, and we come from the universe. We come from the same recipe. So why we cannot do the same as the sun, as the earth? And he make example of the planets feeding each other. Even the last workshop talk about this, where the planets are feeding each other's, and the planets are connected together, and they are working together with the sun in the middle, and explain the micro and the macro. So I really recommend you to really go in deep. Otherwise, you're missing out, because Mr. Keshe has got this gift of really answer the very important question of life, and that where we come from, where we, what is all about, So he really want you to get to know yourself properly, to set yourself free. So he talk about regarding set yourself free. He talk about this new era. He talk about that we got a problem in society of today, in every countries, in Italy, in America, in Iran, in China, everywhere, where we got all this bunch of people that they are scientists and they want to keep their own power. They don't want to lose their job. So everything they do not understand, they said is not true. And there is a big mafia there. So they public the research, their own research, and everything that doesn't give them keep them in their position, they dismiss. They tell them they're a charlatan, this is a scam. So people, they actually want to learn the true knowledge, or people who got knowledge, like Mr. Keshe and other people with a lot of knowledge, and they inventing a lot of good stuff. They cannot go through this wall that's been built from these scientists that they actually want to keep their own power. So Mr. Keshe is going to talk about that a lot. So I really recommend you to go on and listen. So I can stay here for hours. So I'm trying to summarize a little bit. So he said that this new era, is going to be this year, the 2024. He said, this is the year I promise to change. And is already starting on talking about this new system, this new energy system. So he said, The real free energy is when we're going to create, and actually already created, because he talk about, he's already done it, when we're going to create a system like the Earth and the Sun that can feed each other endless. And you can get energy, you can get food, you can transmute, you can do whatever you want. And he said this system already up and running. And he said also that he is willing to give to Iran because he's already committed to the Iran. Iran actually has already signed the peace treaty, so he's really committed to spread this technology. But if Iran start to resist and delayed and not be okay with a lot of things, he gave him the ultimate time to make his mind up, and this was last Thursday at 12 o'clock. And he said, if Iran doesn't make up his mind, I already have online England, because he said Great Britain is a continent who is always been colonized. Everyone is behind all this system that is actual on today. So he thinks is maybe it's best to go into them, because if he can change England and start to share knowledge with England, maybe the Great Britain will be able to then spread the knowledge in all other countries together. And he said, if England also or other governments start to hesitate to go to make this knowledge to go through, because really we need to overcome this fake science and scientists. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna start to give blueprint to the knowledge seeker. And he said to us that he already gave us a blueprint, and it's like the 2012. In 2012, Mr. Keshe already done that. He's already give for who doesn't know, he already give the USB stick to all the government first, but the government did nothing about it. So then what he did, he opened freely teaching to all of to scientists, and then he also and doctors, and then he opened freely with the knowledge seeker. And if you remember, that is the starting of the knowledge seeker workshop that you can see for free on YouTube, because he wanted to give you all the whole world, share all the knowledge freely, because the government didn't do much with it. So he said, okay, if the government doesn't want to do, I'll give it to the people. But even we didn't do much. We started complaining about the Maghreb. We started to say that Mr. Keshe was a scam. We started to say that the Maghreb doesn't work. And in reality, it's not that Maghreb didn't work. We just don't understand enough the knowledge. So maybe we're not ready. We have to go deeper, and we have to learn more and more and more until we can understand and then put to practice. And he said, I will release again the blueprint if the government will resist and will not start to collaborate, because we have to move this barrier. We have to give this knowledge to everyone, so everyone can stop struggling in life. Is not correct that we work in 24 hours, some of us, for have some food on the table, some heating, some shelter. He said with this technology, everyone can have what the rich people have. Everyone can have, not just the rich people who can afford it, but with this technology, if we understand it, everyone we can have whatever we need at the point of need. So that's why I really want to stop the struggle, stop people to suffering, stop war, stop this injustice, stop people spending their life just working. Would you not like to wake up in the morning and do what you like to do without worrying about food, about working 24/7, and actually spend your time on do what you love, and helping people to share knowledge? It'll be paradise on earth. So he's really determined. So I really urge you to listen to the workshop, because Mr. Keshe, you can tell, is very, very determined to spread this knowledge now. So then it's going into the fact that once this knowledge is going to be free for everybody, So it's very, very important that the knowledge seeker, if we got a second chance with this blueprint, it's very important that we really study deeply, because he said, I'm not gonna spoon feed you guys. I just gonna give you the knowledge, and you have to make the work as well. You have to really want this, so you have to really, really study and really, really understand what I'm saying, because if you don't understand what I'm saying, you're not gonna be able to use the system. And he's going to talk about this really top universal system, energy system. So basically, is the at the moment, as I said, we're using the human resource, the natural resource of Earth. With this energy system, we're gonna start to tap into the universal energy of the energy of the universe. And to me, it reminded me a little bit the plasma battery, the way he talked about these new reactors. And he talked about his background. He's been a nuclear scientist, and in the past with Iran, he done this nuclear reactor, but still they were using energy from Earth. So they were not really using the energy from the universe. But he said now with steam, he managed to get the reactor, nuclear reactor, that can feed from the energy from the universe. And he called him the new energy system, this new nuclear reactor. And from this new nuclear reactor, you can get food, you can get energy, you can transmute, you can do whatever you want. And they done it. They showed to the Chinese, but again, the Chinese scientists, because they were scared to lose their power, they blocked it out. They said, what we don't understand, we think is not true. So it really going to this. Okay, sorry, I'm talking too much maybe. So what else? From here is then it talk about the fields of creation. It really explain how we, by playing, if we understand how the fields are interacting with each other, then we can understand how transmute the energy from the universe to physical energy. Yes, then what else? He said, so we don't need anymore to use gas or wood or coal. This will be past to the part of the past. We will not need to use anymore this electric car. This electric car will become obsolete, and the solar panel as well. So it really going into to say in detail what we need to do, what we need to understand, and what we need to understand to go to use this universal energy. Okay, so maybe I'll skip a few things because otherwise we never move. So then he start to talk about the magrav. He start to say that like, guys, you have to go back to really understand the magrav or not, just to get Rick, we got no screen on the front. There is no screen. I don't know, it's because maybe the internet collapsed. Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Yeah, okay,
Background.
perfect. Okay, so because sometimes when I lose connection, the screen goes, so I just want to make sure. Okay, perfect, you're still there. Sorry. Okay, so then he went to talk about the magrav, and he said, you need to take this magrav back, but no, just don't look at it as energy reduction, but just look as energy interaction. And he thinks that from this magrav, if we really understand it, we can everyone can get what they need to charge the soul of the man. And if you feed the soul of the man, then the soul of the man, we can feed the physicality, like the sun feeds the earth. And really going to the sun and earth, it goes on and on and on. And he talk about like an umbilical cord between like the mother and the baby, and it's the same things. This energy, this universal energy, it is the umbilical cord, is the energy that goes through, and they say that the sun and the earth, they get this they have a specific distance between them, and this distance, it's what creates this umbilical cord, and then this created this interaction of fields, and this make the earth being constant fed. That's why you can see, the earth has been going on for thousands of years, being fed. You can find everything here. You can find water, you can find food, all from the sun, all from this connection. And he said the same can be go in the micro and macro, can be the soul of the man with the soul of physicality and the physicality. We can replicate the whole things. It's just matter of you understand this and how to replicate. And the same with the Magrav and the soul of the man, all's been repeated all over again. It's just really a matter of us understanding and put to practice. So it's really interesting because then he's gone again going into the amino acid and he said, for example, you guys in earth you can materialize the earth materialize all materials you can find. But there is the other side. Don't forget the side of the connection of the universe. And he's saying that in the connection of the universe, you can still create life, is how the universe is made. And he talk about this carbon and carbon 60 and how this carbon 16 is the one who does the boundary of the universe or the boundary of all the systems of the solar system, so you can replicate in the crystal structure of whatever is in earth, you can replicate it in the universe, everywhere in the universe. So we have to understand this carbon and how can we create this carbon 60 and go into the skin as well. He makes example of the skin. He said how the skin is again a proof that with this carbon 60 we can also without this carbon, he said, you will not have the skin, you will not have the physicality of you as a person. So so he said that this can be replicated in the universe as well. So it's so interesting. So that's why I really recommend you to really go in and talk more and more about. I can spend hours and hours. Yes, so it talks a lot about this new space plasma system and they will bring the change and goes again over about the government, they have to move on and so on, and the carbon. So I think I say quite a bit about this. So this was the first part. And it's really good. You will listen to the first part 100 times. And then there is the break. He talk about the transmutation. He talk about again the transmutation session of October session. It was mind blowing. He said people are ready to transmute. They already had people who've been transmuted. So he asked people to come back again. And he talked about the new transmutation of November and December. Then Mr. Keshe, he said, in this new transmutation, we're going to teach a group of you, limited group of you, how you can feed yourself, how can you feed your soul, and then your soul can feed your physicality. So the killing will be then, he said that the word killing will be cancelled from the dictionary. People will not going to be able to need to kill any longer because it will be able to feed like the earth does from the fields of the universe. And if the earth can do it, you can do it because you come from the same things. So don't miss out the if you can financially, I really recommend you to do this transmutation session. First of all, because they are life-changing for you. You will learn stuff that will be priceless because if we want to live forever, definitely you need to learn how to feed from the universe. That is number one. If you want to live as much as the earth, millions of years, then you have to, this transmutation session will help you to understand how to achieve that with your own body. And then plus you will support the foundation because the foundation needs support because it wants to stay independent. It doesn't want to any bank, any people interfering with the true knowledge. So that's why it needs financial support all the time, all the time. So please don't stop donating if you can. So and then it goes into the question and answer. There is a top answer, a question from Rick from when asked him to explain about the neutron, the difference between the neutron and the proton, the electron, and he talk again all over again the same things. So the man and so physicalities go again all about this. Is again another top topic that I will recommend you to listen. This question was number one question, and he make also example of really going to explain what is this universal energy. This like this universal energies is like a dome of a pizza or a dome of a bread, and then the plasma, it's when the energy get for example in Earth you got a specific he said that the size of the Earth, the distance from the Earth and the Sun, the distance from each planet, the size of the Earth, the size of the universe, they're all determined by this denominator that then will decide how to divide in which size is this universal energy that is connected with our soul like central energy system. To me, it reminded me a lot of the battery, the plasma battery. But anyway, so it's good. Don't miss out that bit, the first question. I'll listen 3-4 times. I'm not gonna talk much about it because I can talk for hours and hours and hours. And then Mr. Keshe talk again about Mitra. The Mitra is someone asked about Mitra, if Mitra is here. Mr. Keshe said yes. So there is another answer about Mitra. And then he's going into, even before, but he touch it now, that if you understand this concept of the sun feeding the earth and the micro and macro, then you can also work out how we can regrow limbs, how can we regrow the brain, how can we regrow organs, how can we eradicate illness from this planet. And going to talk about Naomi, and he took going to how they regrow the brain of Naomi. The doctor doesn't still don't know how we did it. And he said that he's got a research going where they're actually right now they're regrowing a kidneys of a girl, and they is again is not a mind-blowing research. Doctor don't know how it is happening, but if you understand all this workshop, that's why I said to you, please go and listen, share it out with if you got friends with brains that can grasp this quicker, because we need one of us who can grasp this and then can teach the other. So please let him see this workshop, because he can work out also how to eradicate cancer, how to eradicate any illness. And then he's going to other more questions. Sorry, he mentioned as well about our dear friends from Argentina, John Wells, who he went full-time in the universal community. I'm sure that John Wells, because he was so active here with us, he was very active knowledge seeker. I'm sure John Wells, by know his nature, he will be now super busy in the universe, and I'm sure he's helping us, and I'm sure with him full-time, with the other knowledge seeker who they move on to the next cycle, they're all gonna helping us on get this knowledge faster. So John, we need your help. Please help us. Yeah, so we talk about John, how good he was. Okay, I have to, oh my God, I really have to go. Yeah, so guys, I can stay longer. So maybe I leave you here. There is more. I talk about, again, the thread and the trees, make example of the free, it's more. We talk again about, so maybe please go on and listen. Go on and listen. Otherwise, Dimitri done another very good question. It talks on and on and on. So I see the time. So I'm gonna leave you here, guys. The rest of the question, they're gonna be a surprise for you. They're all top question. So good question. So please go on and listen to the workshop, and we can move to the next slides. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening, and please share the knowledge And thank you. And don't stop donate. Thank you.
Thank you, Stefania. Thank you for your energy and the way that you bring forward the knowledge and your understanding. And thank you very much for that. Wonderful. Thank you. Okay, so now we're going to go into the emotions and the soul. This was a teaching that Mr. Keshe has given some years ago. And as you can see, this is on the kfwiki.org. And this happens to be the English part of this website. And so this is something that it's a series that I've been speaking about of the teachings on emotions of the soul. And it's funny how I've mentioned this last time, how the soul knows everything. The soul knows time, place, and position, and it knows things before you even speak them. And so this week, this happened to come up. This particular teaching was the next in the series of something that I've been doing. And so there was as I read through it, I will explain a little bit more. A situation that happened that sort of is the souls are very aware, and that's mainly what I'd like to say about this. Okay, so I'm going to start reading now. Now this is page 1, and this is the emotions and the soul. Our position is removed from the light of the soul. And this is a teaching by Mr. Keshe some moments ago. The truth of my soul is that its given nature is real, and the bad situation I've been in was mispositioned because of a wrong definition. On the other hand, you could see an event like having lost your dog. So I didn't lose my dog, but I have some relatives that have the dog. There was a dog that's been in the family for quite some time that suddenly lost his physicality, and the dog has taken a new position. And so what I was mentioning about is funny how the souls all know this all ties together. And whether you are a soul of physicality as a human being, as a vertical friend, the plants, or a horizontal friend, the dogs, the animals, ourselves, we lie horizontally. So we have a dual position. The souls all connect and speak with each other. And whichever experience the soul in physicality happens to be experiencing, the souls are connected. And it's very relevant that we all understand this connectiveness that we have with each and every one of us. And as soon as you tap into and you start speaking about the soul and these soul teachings and the Universal Council, the souls come forward and speak very, very quickly to you. And the more that you are present and in balance with yourself, the more it will become apparent to you how much you are dealing with the soul of man. Okay, so you could see an event like having lost your dog from the point of view of abundance. So there's a difference for you, because obviously when you lose a relative or a dog, a cat, whatever it is, an animal that's close to you, there's a lot of grief that comes with it, and emotion, and we tie ourselves into this emotion. And you'll as you read through this with me, you'll understand how we lock ourselves in to these emotions, and it's taken from us when we need to flip it, and we need to rejoice, even though it's very difficult, and come to understand the beauty of the soul as just taking another position. So you could see it as there is an abundance of connection. So that completely flips the grief if you can tap into this, if you can allow yourself to get past the immense, overwhelming grief that sometimes grips us, If we can let go of this and we can start to reposition ourselves, rebalance ourselves, we will find a new energy will enter into our being and be present on a soul level. So he has merged back into the true non-physical nature. Its soul will always be alive. And I am still connected. So all your relatives, all the people that you hold very dear, and all those souls that have been present through your lineage that you connect to, they're still present, they're still there. You can still connect. Nothing is lost. It's just a different position. I can still communicate with the essence of that being. You might also think, now there are different ways that his beingness can explore itself. So the soul can now can experience different things and go back into an energy form and be many, many different types of energy, types of field strength, types of whether it wants to come back into the physicality or whether it takes a position of a pure energy source. And this is, as Stefania was talking about, this is all linked to the planet. So if the soul decides to come back and is linked very much to the amino acids of this structure, and according to the understanding that it's taken, then maybe it would come back as in the physicality again, and maybe not. Okay. You may also think now there are different ways that the beingness can explore itself. It can evolve and move on to the next thing. It has learned everything it had to learn from this physical lifetime. So there's another way of thinking of things. Maybe we take with our grief when really that soul is ready to go and they need to let go, and the energy of the grief holds them in position. So we're taking, and maybe we need to reverse that and understand the beauty of the soul and give unconditionally to the soul, and so we can release the energy to be the soul energy that it's meant to be. Everything is for a reason. And all these teachings tie together very closely when you actually start to allow some things. So we had an amazing time, and we'll have an amazing time in different ways simultaneously to this physical reality, unaware to my conscious mind, but that's okay. Those are just some examples of how you could rephrase the same situation from a broader understanding, from a frequency of love, trust, appreciation, infinite abundance, and from the truth that there is never a loss or lack of anything. So when we really truly understand that it's an abundance and there's no lack and there's no loss, then that changes maybe for you your understanding, so you can elevate and give to the soul that you're grieving for, so that it changes the position for yourself and for the soul that is has an energy that's tied to you. You know, that field strength of emotions that are linked to the energy packs and the amino acids and all the carbons and everything else on planet Earth. Then the same scenario of losing your dog suddenly feels beautiful. This doesn't mean you can't shed a tear. It doesn't mean that you're not releasing an emotional charge around all that you have accumulated over those years of friendship and companionship. So we're bound to feel the loss of the physicality. But it takes on a new understanding, a new meaning of the word that many people fear is death. When you understand a physical energy pack, once created, can never not be, there is no death. It doesn't mean that you're not sad in a way. However, you are not fundamentally, existentially sad. You don't feel betrayed. You don't feel a loss or lonely. Now, that's a big thing. So if we can not feel a loss, betrayed, or lonely, we don't feel lonely or that you're lacking, that's a big change for us. That changes the whole understanding. Once you accept a little part of this, once you receive this elevation of the words I'm speaking, it starts to change. The moment that you connect to it and it touches the soul, the realization of what the truth is, the beauty is, elevates your soul and gives us the ability to then absorb and communicate and be joyous in a totally different way. This is universal knowledge. This is knowledge that has been present for a long time, but is being re-established and re-given as that gift to humanity for you to, as it says here, you feel in alignment, you feel in truth, you feel connected, you feel connected. If we can go to the next page, please, Rick. Thank you. So this is page 2. Be aware where the fields of emotion will create reactions in physicality and the soul. So we create these fields that interact, and they interact on a physical level, but they also touch the soul. They also create a condition for the soul. Now we understand why the fields of emotion will create reactions we are sometimes not in control of. Our position has to be change in the same scenario. When we apply a different definition to it, it changes the whole situation. So when we define something and we say it's just grief, it's just overwhelming sadness, we're taking and we are limiting ourselves. And I know it's the most difficult thing. I mean, for all of us, I feel it when the dog, I went to see the dog the other day just before it went, and I felt great emotion, but I also called upon my soul to give to the dog's soul. And I felt the presence of many souls present when I looked into the eye of the dog that was, literally in position, breathing its last few breaths of physicality. But I understood the beauty of the soul and the happiness and joy that it's brought to the souls that it was present with, or she was present with. And then I rejoiced and I gave to the soul. And I felt better, and it opened me up. After a few tears had gone, then I felt this overwhelming joy and happiness for the beauty of this creature, created creature that had been present in physicality and given so much unconditionally for the human beings to feel the emotions of touching the fur, of stroking the animal, of feeding and caring, giving to the animal energy and receiving much energy back, an energy transfer. So I changed the whole emotional field. It changes your whole emotional field. Why is this? Observe the fields of the emotion and learn to use it as a guidance system to always bring yourself back to center. To always reposition yourself in the center of the truth of your soul. To control your emotions, you have to learn to align yourself. quicken the process. So when you stay too far right or left, the emotional body is there to let you know that's all it is. When you're suffering, when you're in pain, it lets you know that the way that you are perceiving and thinking about life needs to be changed. That's all. So our belief system kicks in, our what we've come to understand from what we've experienced and what we've been told. And these words that I read here can be a completely different, maybe for some of us, understanding of the truth of the soul that is present within your structure. And when you reconnect in this way, then you start becoming a very big giver and you stay in joy, and then you connect to your soul, and then the soul will give back to you more and more and more. And it's in an ever expanding consciousness, beauty of soul interaction that is the truth and the beauty of being present both in physical form and as an energy. And many souls are present amongst us, and many of the souls that we've seen in physicality that have now lost their coat, their jacket, are still present with us. They're still, the moment you think about them, they could be across the other side of the unicos, the universe. But the moment that you connect and you focus, they're instantly back with you. Zero time communication. So suffering is meant as a guidance principle to guide you back into clarity, into truthfulness, into alignment. And that's all. That's all it is. So it should be appreciated. Suffering should not be seen as a bad thing when you realign yourself. So many of us suffer. We have many, many different ailments and many emotional imbalances. But when we can understand those last few words, suffering should not be seen as a bad thing when you realign yourself. So if you understand the energy that's involved in the communication between the thoughts, the physical brain, that matter state condition and the soul, and when we realign ourselves with these, we speak these words and we understand some of these words, we absorb it in, it changes us. We realign. And the next few words are so important for us, I think. Otherwise, it will create mayhem and diseases in the physicality. And I think many of us experience this. So when if we don't realign, the body just shows us more and more of the condition of the mayhem. And this would be like the mayhem we've had or we've experienced on planet Earth from micro to macro. It's the same thing. Every cell in your body has a soul. Every cell is like a mini sun. And Mother Earth, the planet Earth, is a cell in a bigger totality. And so we experience the mayhem and the diseases in the physicality because we're not connecting and realigning on a soul level. So when we start to communicate on that soul level and really tap into it, then we are part of a much bigger totality, and we are the change in that moment that we do this. So this was a teaching by Mr. Keshe, kfwiki.org, guidelines for balancing the emotions, detachment from physicality and emotions. So hopefully this would have helped some of us to understand more on our journey and the beauty of being present with ourselves and the knowledge from the foundation that is a gift to humanity and to all created creatures, because I think many creatures tap into this and receive it. I've noticed when Mr. Keshe is speaking, and I have animals around me, they all tap into it in a different way. I can hear, I can sense them listening in a different way as soon as Mr. Keshe speaks, and I know that they are receiving what they need as well. They don't always stay away, around for all the whole time, but I can tell that the voice is communicating much more on a soul level than just to humanity. So, thank you, Rick. Thank you all for listening, and I think we can now we can go to the next slide. Thank you, Rick. I thought Stefania was going to, I can read this one. Okay. As one soul, the universal community with the UC has felt immense joy to see the Iranian leaders happiest in their souls to have found a solution for world peace through the KF technology in exchange for peace. And that is TIEP. As they understood, by choosing the path of one planet, one nation, one race, the Iranian leaders achieved world peace together as one soul with all the other world leaders, as this opportunity has given to them a way to show their unconditional love to all living beings. As the Iranian leaders know that this is the best they could do for humanity and beyond, with humility and beauty for all in totality of creation. We are present.
I use 1 minute, please. Great, thank you.
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
We're having a minute of silence.
Sorry, sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry.
Hello. We, the UC and UC support, give from our soul freely to elevate the soul of the leaders to come to the path of peace.
We are present. We, the UC, give freely from our souls to Mr. Keshe's soul, to have enough strength to complete the final steps for completing the release of the technology in exchange for peace. We are present.
We, the Universal Council, elevate the souls to all leaders and be part of the Technology in Exchange for Peace, TEP. Our wish is our command.
We are present.
As one soul, the universal community, with universal council, has felt immense joy to see the Iranian leader happiest in their soul to have found a solution for world peace throughout the technology in exchange of peace, Keshe Foundation technology in exchange of peace.
We are present. We, the UC, give from soul for peace within a plasma that knows no limitation. We are present.
with the Universal Council and support, more than ever give from our soul to world leader to accept the Keshe technology for all the people to heal the world and bring peace upon us, as promises by our own creator throughout the prophets.
We are present. So this is where we join the soul of physicality with the soul of man. And I find that by speaking these words on a daily basis, before I go to sleep and just as I awake, so when I go into the energy form of the soul, I've already set a condition of a connection of beauty, connecting with my soul. So when we speak these words in this moment, I love you, my soul. I live you, and I love with you, and I adore you. We connect the field strength of these are Mr. Keshe's words, and I know that it connects very deeply with the soul, and the soul resonates with this. And when we connect the voice box with the physical words, so we're connecting the soul of physicality, and then by speaking it through the voice box, that connection, the energy transfer touches the soul of physicality, which then, with the words and the understanding and the field strength of unconditional love, the soul then knows that you're in alignment with its field strength, with its purpose, with its positioning as a soul that has been present to establish a connection for you with the Creator. So when we speak these words, we will see what the soul will give back to you. And I think you'll find that these very gentle words that are spoken will have a great significance to you when you understand the connection to the soul. And this is not from a belief system. This is not from something else. This is not a connection from a third party. This is a direct connection between yourself and the Creator within. And so it's an understanding for you to speak these words and see what happens, see what the soul does give back to you. Notice the small things. Be present with yourself and understand the beauty of your soul present with all the other souls. Connect and receive the energy of the soul in the physicality and in the energy form. So thank you for being present. Thank you. Thank you, Rick. I think we can move on.
Next, we have the soul connection with Mehran.
Yes. Hello, it's Mehran, representing the Farsi language, the universal support. I was asked to speak a little bit about soul of physicality and soul of the man before connection. So I try with my understanding of the moment, return back what I understood. Well, I maybe first go before the man, how it's created around us. As far as I know, at first it was, if I can find, it was the rays, and then the rays get together, and then they create this energy fields, and then these energy fields together or with others or turn into to themselves create the different packages of energy field, and they're all over the universe. And with different forces and sizes. So as far as our own sun and solar system, we have a solar system which is created the same way, that smallest things which is created from the fields, energy fields, plasmas, rays, and then we have our our sun, which has magnetical fields and gravitational fields, and it gives us all the time from its energy and fields without stop. Also, the Earth has the gravitational force and magnetical force, and the magnetical force of the Earth and the sun at one time they get together, creates the fields in energy package, different ones, and when they touch the surface of the Earth, according to the environment of that place, which we call here inertia, which is the total balance of magnetical and gravitational field energy of that local place. It's created the energy. It creates energy like oxygen, carbon, and nitrogen, and matters like copper and iron and zinc, which are necessary for life in this planet. And how are we all together related to each other when these elements and the sun and everything? Is that when a man and a woman get together, and the egg of the woman receives the sperm of the man, At that exact moment, the egg starts to turn very, very fast, very fast. And when it is turning very fast, it pulls in the energy around it created by magnetic fields of the Earth, and it creates an energy center. It creates energy, and then this energy lets the egg become 2, 4, 6, and create the organs of the man little by little, and then the skull of the man, and then the energy center is there in the middle of the skull. And when the body is created, it is created an energy form in the middle of the body, which is different for each person because it's not an organ or matter, near heart center, we call it. Because if we cut the hands and legs and head, the throne, there's a place near heart, which is the center of communication of the body. And our soul of physicality, what we call it, everything which has to do with physicality, the director of these whole souls of all organs of the body, all cells of the body, located in this place, near the heart. And then it's the energy form again, not material. And the energy of the start is in the skull of the body to be kept safe. And then that sometime, and they are related through the blood circle, which passes all through the body, and also the energy fields, which passes through all the body. That's the medicine, Chinese medicine, Chinese way of thinking, that they say there is a circulation of energy also with the same pattern goes through the body, which is called qi. And so through the blood, the soul of the man, the emotion of the man, and the emotion of the what's created in the brain go through the whole body. And sometimes the soul wants something, which is always right. When it comes to circulation to the heart, to the soul of the man, he desires, he wants something else. And that's why we can, I guess, I can say it's the wrongdoings of man comes in. Because it doesn't fit what the soul has decided at first. So this is how it is created, and this is the same plan module which we can apply to every being in every part of the world according to the elements of that special place, the gases of that special place, and inertia of that place. Otherwise, everything is the same way of creation and nothing out of it. The other differences, it doesn't get out of this pattern. So as simple as that, if you can understand it. even for me, I'm still in the old fashion of thinking things are different, differently created because different look, but in fact the same pattern. What's in the macro is in the micro. So I think it's almost, I don't want to be too long, it's almost what's important. I wrote some things, but I don't read it too much. And so if there is a question, comment, please. Can someone add or correct me or anything to add to this piece of knowledge? Because if it's interesting, this knowledge, I love that it's simple and answers. So if there is not, I go back to the soul of the man. Soul of the man has the energy of many, many atomic bombs. It's in the center of the skull, and an empty, very, very, very little empty hole, which holds this soul. And sometimes at night, when we dream, and the blood pressure gets lower, breathing gets lower, opens up this kind of prison for the soul and let it loose so it can go out, visits people, visit places, and then comes back. And we are still in our bed. So that's how we can go out with the soul and come back, be there in the morning. And now we can use the soul to be the mother of creation of what we desire. When our head, our soul, and our hearts, all of the physicality, is on one subject, we can create the miracles. That's what Jesus said. I don't know, I think it's a part of the teachings of Jesus, which we only find in the Copt ecclesias in the mountains of Egypt, because many of them were destroyed of the true teachings of Jesus. Blessed his name. And what we want to do, we want to be creative with our own soul, to use our own soul to create our desire, which is pure, which is devoted towards others without any selfish interest in it. And we can expand our souls. At first, we are not used to it naturally, like anything else. We're not used to, like when the first day we want to make food, we are not used to the kitchen utensils. So little by little, we let go of our body, breathing, slowly breathing and thinking about that and nothing else. And in this small parenthesis of calmness we are created, we let go of our souls and we let it go, and we connect it with other souls which are like us, which at this same moment think like us and think for freedom of liberty and peace in the world. We feel there is peace, there is happiness and joy. And at the same time, everyone has what they want, easy life, satisfactory life, no need to work all the time, worries about banking accounts, worried about heating and eating and all that, and knowing everything comes from the Universal Council and we know how to get it. So we think we have this freedom. We are in communication with community of Universal. The other family, part of the family, we have our other places. So we think of peace on earth for everybody, children, women, plants, fishes, dogs, everything. And we stay in this contemplation of peace on earth for a while. Thank you. And then we give from our souls to elevate the soul of the leaders, the highest authorities in this world, those who decide for this humanity. And we give them from our souls the energy they need. They take what they need. If you know, sometimes in pictures, or we give them, we imagine their picture and we give to them. We give that they get satisfaction in their souls, that they have enough, and they realize the necessity of the peace and the benefits of peace for this planet. Thank you very much. It's never nothing. We did, as knowledge seeker, our part for the peace in the world. No matter the size of our change that we create something. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marinez. Very wise words, and we feel your soul interaction and the beauty that you have for being present for, as you said, this humanity and all the created souls. Sorry, Marinez. Yeah, carry on if you'd like to say something.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. Okay, so we're gonna this next slide is this is for the soul of man, and we need to we can connect to the energy of peace. And Mr. Keshe brought this World Peace Treaty quite some moments ago, and we proposed it and we put it forward for the world leaders to sign this with their souls. And like Moses and like many situations on planet Earth, they couldn't do it. They gave us a lot of different interactions that took us to other energy sources and led us on a winding path that wasn't in direct connection with the soul of man and the truth of the soul of man. And so in these moments, we're asking for the World Peace Treaty to be signed. And the world leaders couldn't do this. So it was signed on behalf of humanity, and every single nation on planet Earth signed the World Peace Treaty. It was the knowledge seekers that did this. Remember, no soul is higher and no soul is lower. So who is the leader of men, of souls created? It's us. When we have the correct ethos, when we can sign the World Peace Treaty with your soul, my soul, and really set the intention of this, it creates a field strength that connects to the energy of peace. If you look at the patterns, so I would presume this is a matter state condition of the of water with the sun reflecting through it. So the clarity and the openness, the beauty of the water in connection with planet Earth, the pureness of it. But this is a matter state condition linked to the planet Earth. But the field interactions, so if you can see the ripple effect, you can see we're interacting constantly. So those field interactions are the emotions of the interaction of the soul. And so if we think in the physical body, we have the water. We can touch it, drink it, and interact with it in this way, in the physical form. But if you look at those ripples again in another way and think of these as the soul interaction, the field interactions that go out across the planet Earth, and they don't stop there. There's no limitation on the soul interaction of your thoughts and actions and deeds. They keep carrying on. And they interact, as you see, constantly. The fields are all mingling with each other. So there's a beautiful thought that happens. Someone's created something wonderful, like connecting to the leaders and creating peace with their soul. And then we get all the other interactions where they didn't know about this particular interaction. And there's all these other interactions that are taking place all over the place. And it's not just what's in front of us with our eyes. As a plasma, as a soul, it's 360. It's all around us. It's part of us. And our interactions have consequences. If we give to a certain situation and we connect, let's say, to this thinking, speaking, and acting good, which is what the solar man does. That's that direct connection. That's that beautiful part of the soul that only knows unlimited beauty, direct connection with the Creator. And that ripple effect, once you connect with that, just gently unfolds and just and laps across the field strength of interactions of planet Earth and across the cosmos, the universes, the unicos, and is a direct connection to the Creator within. So these words, this World Peace Treaty, we can sign it as presidents, as political leaders. But the most important people to sign it is you. Sign it with your soul to say you will become peaceful. Because then when we heal one of us, we all heal together. It only takes one plasma to one hydrogen, as Mr. Keshe would say, can fill a universe. So if one of us connects in the right way, transmutes, completes the cycle, then the rest of us will get this ripple effect across the souls and the elevation will take place. And then we, in this moment, connect to the energy of peace. And these words that are written have a field strength. They connect to the souls. And when you commit your soul to this, you are receiving from the other souls that are present. And not just in this moment, but all moments. So I, as citizens or a citizen of the earth, from this moment on, accept to lay down all tools of aggression and war. I shall never think about getting involved or incite war or develop or use any tools of war on this planet or in space. And to this I, all agree and swear with my, delete as appropriate, nation, territory, council, religion, city, town, body or bodies, soul or souls. And then you can write your name, your signature, your date, your position that you give yourself, or on behalf of a nation, a territory, a council, a religion, a city, town, an individual, and then it gets witnessed by somebody. So the name, signature, date, position held. And then after signing this treaty, be proud. Be proud as a soul to know that you've committed to display this certificate wherever you consider being important to you, that everyone else can see and know your ethos to fellow men and the mankind and other created beauties of the Creator. Because when you sign this with the soul of man, you're connecting to all the souls that are present. You are saying, I will not harm another knowingly. I will not put myself in that position, put my soul in this position that is so out of line with the soul that I do much energy damage to my soul, and my soul has to reposition completely because of my misunderstanding of the true divinity.
Hi again, everybody. Today,
so be present with the World Peace Treaty and sign it with your soul. Be present with yourself and understand that we all can sign this ourselves in this moment. It's not just for what we believe it to be the others. It's for us in this moment to sign the World Peace Treaty. And with that, I think, Mark, would you like to take over? Thank you.
Well, it was interesting when, let me just say what Mr. Keshe said in the last workshop about being misled by our scientists, keeping us connected to the matter state, not wanting the interaction of fields or to understand this energy level more. We've also been misled by our theologians. And when Mr. Keshe had talked a number of years ago about the three wise men, the thinking good, as Dean said, the speaking good and the doing good, Mr. Keshe indicated all the Christians missed the gifts that were given to the Messiah, or the gifts that were really given to humanity. In the book, in the holy book, it's written it was gold or it was incense or precious oils and things like that. But the three gifts of the three wise men, and of course, if you think about it, it really makes sense to think good, to speak good, and to do good. And I think we can connect this with the World Peace Treaty in a way. It talks about laying down all tools of aggression and war. When you're thinking bad about someone, maybe someone's hurt you or stolen from you or done wrong, and instead of thinking how you can get that item back or them to repay you or whatever, either move on or elevate their souls. And the same with the speaking. You may speak bad about them because they've done wrong to you, but this is not the way the ethos of our foundation or the way the universe works. We always try to elevate others, not to take away from a soul. We always try to add to a soul. So I think if you put this into practice, and of course, this is a new revelation really in the past number of years, at least to me, if we can employ this in our life, in all our activities, and it's easier said than done, but I encourage everyone to try it. Because in this process, if you're thinking good about others or just thinking good in general, you're actually nourishing yourself. The same with speaking. Those fields will come back to you when you're speaking good about the others. Even if they've done wrong, you're still going to elevate them because this is the way the change is brought. And of course, in your own life, in your own inner sanctum, let's say, of behavior, which again, nobody can control that behavior really except you. So we encourage you all to wake up to the realization and how we've been misled. They weren't physical gifts. They were more on the energy side in a way, if we look at it. And to think that our reactors, in combination with the World Peace Treaty, can bring this elevation, I think it's a benefit for our emotions, our blood pressure, our physicality, and the process of elevating other souls, where the stronger gives to the weaker. And of course, the weaker also gives to the stronger by confirming its existence. So we thank Mr. Keshe for revealing what most of the Christians have missed, including myself. And now, again, we're opening up a dimension where we can operate in the energy dimension and not just give gifts in the matter state. So that's what I wanted to say to that, but we can connect that into the World Peace Treaty about laying down all tools of aggression and war. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you for giving us the understanding of what we need to understand. And when we do connect with it and when we do understand this, we realized that the power that we've sometimes didn't understand and we gave away actually sits right within us. So this is what we use the energy of, the connection of the soul. And the Universal Council invites you, the Keshe family and the Universal family. And that includes all of us, everybody that's listening. We're all part of the Universal family, whether we like it or whether we believe something else. We're all present on a little plasma that's floating around in a much bigger plasma. So we are present with this. So the Universal family, in unifying at soul level, every time and every day at 9 p.m. CEST, or to elevate the souls of the leaders involved to achieve the permanent and lasting peace in the Middle East. And as part of the soul of peace and totality. So when you connect at 9 p.m., you're connecting with many other souls that are present, and you have the universal family behind the Universal Council, and they're present in energy form, and maybe some are present in physicality form, and they will enhance your soul by being present and unifying the soul of peace and the soul of the leaders, so they can achieve this permanent lasting peace and understand it themselves as a woman, as a man, as a soul, that they understand themselves what they're part of. No matter the belief, the understanding is now being elevated. And that is why we're connecting to this lasting peace in the Middle East. And each and every one of us present around planet Earth and beyond can add the field strength so it grows, very much like that ripple effect. So we're adding to it, we place our soul in this position, and the souls then become unified. They grow, it grows, the field strength grows. And when you connect to this, we have achieved it in this moment. Because the very moment that we connect to it and think about it and do it, do the three wise men, we have activated the plasma, the soul of it. And we've communicated it to the other souls. And then by making these wishes and intentions, it touches the other souls, not the physicality. We're touching the soul, which is of a higher elevation. And then it comes down to the matter state of the physicality. So this is how you touch the world leaders. This is how you touch and create peace. You don't need to go hanging and running around like we all do sometimes. We feel we have to in the matter state. We hold lots of things and many things that we do. But you can sit quietly with yourself and connect your soul. Excuse me. You can connect your soul in any place. You can be in any situation. You can be in the middle of the Middle East. You can be in the middle of Europe. You can be in any position on planet Earth and beyond, and connect to this. And the moment you really give from your soul, the soul feels it, it knows it. And the moment it knows it, it releases a field strength that connects to the other souls. And you elevate, and then the souls that you make available to elevate for the peace, they elevate too. And we all gain from this totality of being present with the Creator that is present with us always. So please bring your soul and be present on a soul level unifying the soul at 9 p.m. Whether it's CEST or whether it's CET, it's 9 p.m. Central European time. So wherever you are in the world, connect at this moment, and you'll connect with some very, very beautiful souls, powerful, beautiful souls that are present to bring peace to humanity, and to bring peace to, you know, and for your soul and all the souls that are created that are present with us, experiencing in the physical form and the energy form as a soul. And there are many with us, countless numbers are present with us all the time. So connecting to them is a very powerful connection to the Creator and all created creatures. Okay, thank you, Rick. I think we can now pass on to the next slide. Thank you.
Okay, next we have stay questions and answers with the Universal Council with Marie and Claudia. And let me see, this is the ad for the next one. Let me see how we're going to do this.
Right, which of course is the first Saturday of every month. This one is at 9 p.m. CET. This program usually lasts for around an hour. There's really, I don't think there's any Q&A, although that could be possible. But normally it's just questions that are answered, and perhaps sometimes a special guest. It's translated into Portuguese. And they usually take a number of questions, and there are a number of answers. So we ask you to support on the soul level, and also learn more about yourself, your capabilities, and your capacities. And this is part of the Universal Council program. And we thank Marie and Claudia for presenting it regularly on a weekly basis. But it's the first Saturday of every month, just once a month.
Excellent. Thank you, Mark. So we're going to go back to our last month's, or this month, but the I think it's the 5th of October, and we'll have a look at that video. Let me just get that set up here. Okay, we're starting at the 4th question, and there'll be several answers to that question, as in previous examples, I believe. So let's have a listen to that and see where that goes.
And then we are on the 4th question. Can my emotional state in physicality, when transmuting, take me to a bad place? Because if I'm sad on a given day, my frequency goes down. So what would that transmutation be like?
Então vamos para a 4ª pergunta. Meu estado emocional na fisicalidade, durante a transmutação, pode me levar a um lugar ruim? Porque se estou triste em um determinado dia, minha frequência cai. Então, como seria essa transmutação?
And the first answer, when transmuting, the soul of the man is in charge, and your physical emotions will not affect the emotions of your soul, which are order of magnitude stronger. The soul will not take you to a bad place if it's not for your experience and learn from it. Frequencies belongs to physicality and is non-existent at soul level.
Então, durante a transmutação, a alma do homem está no comando, e suas emoções físicas não afetarão as emoções da sua alma, que são ordens de magnitude muito mais fortes. A alma não o levará a um lugar ruim, a menos que seja para você vivenciar e aprender com isso. A frequência pertence à fisicalidade e não existe no nível da alma.
And there is another answer. You can transmute only when your soul of physicality and physicality are in balance as one with the level of the motion of the soul of the man. If you are too physical, you will not be able to transmute. Bad places are man-made. In the creation, all is perfect, no mistakes or bad places.
Então você só pode transmutar quando sua alma da fisicalidade e a fisicalidade estiverem em equilíbrio, como uma só, com o nível de emoção da alma do homem. Se você for muito físico, não será capaz de transmutar. Lugares ruins são feitos pelo homem. Na criação, tudo é perfeito, sem erros ou lugares ruins.
And there is another answer. Emotions, energy in motion, decide our actions. But when we consciously follow our soul as a captain of our life, it helps us get to the place we need to be. When we focus on this process and our desire is real, without fears or unnecessary attachments, the emotions are the right ones. So if you are sad in some way, the emotions is not aligned with the plasmatic energetic force of our soul, which does not let you focus on your desire, on your order, then your moment of transmutation does not happen.
Então, emoções, energias em movimento, decidem nossas ações. Mas quando seguimos conscientemente nossa alma como capitã de nossa vida, ela nos ajuda a chegar ao lugar onde precisamos estar. Quando focamos nesse processo e nosso desejo é verdadeiro, sem medos ou apegos desnecessários, as emoções são as corretas. Então, se você está triste, de alguma forma a emoção não está alinhada com a força plasmática e energética da sua alma, o que não permite que você se concentre no seu desejo, na sua ordem. Então, o seu momento de transmutação não acontece.
And there's another answer. No more intermediaries means... Just a moment. Sorry about that.
No problem.
No more intermediaries means no more interference. Your soul knows the way to the benefit of all. If you understand what it means to make your soul your captain, he would never lead you to a bad place. Understand what your purpose is here on earth. What are the lessons we have to learn in this cycle of life? Don't forget, if you ask and you're given, it's your right. Ask yourself, what is my goal? Know that you can ask for the knowledge at any time if you are humble to receive. Tell us if it comes to you and become the next generation of universal teachers. We are all students and teachers, dear souls. We love you more than word can say.
Sem mais intermediários significa sem mais interferências. Sua alma conhece o caminho para o benefício de todos. Se você entender o que significa fazer da sua alma sua capitã, ela nunca o levará a um lugar ruim. Entenda qual é o seu propósito aqui na Terra. Quais são as lições que temos que aprender nesse ciclo de vida? Não se esqueça, se você pedir e lhe fato for dado, é seu direito. Pergunte a si mesmo, qual é o meu objetivo? Saiba que você pode pedir pelo conhecimento a qualquer momento, se for humilde para recebê-lo. Conte-nos se ele vier até você e se você se tornar a próxima geração de professores universais. Somos todos estudantes e professores, queridas almas. Amamos vocês mais do que palavras podem dizer.
So that was the answers from the Universal Council today, and I thank everyone who contributed. Thank you.
Então, essas foram as respostas dos membros do Conselho Universal e ela agradece a todos que contribuíram. Thank you, Marie, again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yay, that completes our excerpt from Claudia and Marie. And we look forward to a new session on Saturday, coming up November 2nd. Okay, we'll go on to the next thing, which I believe is
hello, everyone.
transmutation. Thank you, Mashfaq.
This is Mosfek, representing Bengali language as a council support member. So once again, we are here to talk about transmutation. And before I talk about transmutation, maybe it might be a good thing for those who have had some experience and, the experience with the transmutation tests and contribute their experience here. And because it gives us a different point of reference than, some of us who are more regular here. So, and it also gives us some hints of what can be achieved through these kind of participation. So anybody else, who has participated in this meeting? Rick, you are one of them, actually. And there are others. Mark is there as well. So perhaps you guys or somebody else who has been in this meeting, talk about it.
Maybe Rick can find the offer in the store. But to my understanding, it's the bottom line of these transmutation tests and everything is to keep the Keshe Foundation free for humanity. There are more things going on than just what we think of as the transmutation, as a physical moving from one point to the other. And again, when we see this big word transmutation, we think, wow, can I do such a thing? Is this possible? Well, of course, as we've heard from the teachings of Mr. Keshe, that Christ actually showed us the transmutation. Of course, we all missed it. The story, again, from the theologians was incorrect because Christ, as we understand it now, actually walked off the cross as another man. He actually performed the transmutation. And of course, we've also heard of what's called the transfiguration as well, which is another point where sort of went into this energy dimension. But the bottom line is to keep the Keshe Foundation free for humanity. In the background, with the different groups, and also when we used to meet collectively, many tests were being run that we weren't aware of. Different fields were being interacted with different people. And so not everyone's experience is exactly the same. What I experienced may be different than one of the others, because as I said, they're testing things in the background and we don't know exactly what's being tested and for what reasons, but they're looking for feedback from the participants. The upcoming 3 sessions are for nutrition and wellness. I think of the soul and the physicality. As he said, we're going to start now. In the past, we fed the physicality and the soul. Now we're just going to be feeding the soul. And in turn, that soul will then feed the physicality. But what's also amazing, and Stefania mentioned it in the opening remarks about this universal energy system that Mr. Keshe has developed. He said it's not there. So in these upcoming sessions, perhaps we're going to have an audience in the background of world-class scientists being allowed to view different energies interacting with the body of the man. As we've heard, the banana is one energy. Other things are different energies. So we're going to allow scientists to actually view what's going on in these sessions. So again, it's more about keeping the Keshe Foundation free than you going in there looking for something. Although a lot of times Mr. Keshe would say, don't expect anything, allow your soul. And in other times he would say, if you have a pain or if you have something else that you'd like to correct, see if the soul will change a dimension within the dimension of physicality in that one little nanosecond. And of course, we've heard this. It's happened to me with my arm that was bothering me for 3 weeks. It wasn't a full repair, but within the next week, it seemed to go away. And I didn't understand why I wasn't correcting it or putting it back into balance on my own. I probably needed other fields. And of course, we've heard of fingers straightening in these sessions. We've heard of jaws realigning when the jawbone was out of place. We've also heard internal bleeding sensation or cessation, let's say, of stopping completely. That was going on for a period of time. And there's probably more testimonies that they have in the background, but sometimes people are a bit shy, and we understand this, to come forward in a public domain, but I'm sure they've shared it with the Keshe Foundation. So now with this new universal system, they're connecting you directly to the energies or these energy lines of the universe. And he's talking about transmutation and so on being an instantaneous process and growing limbs in a rather short period of time. But again, I just want to say we're all already participating in transmutation. 80% of the energy for your structure is transmuted into your system on a daily, continual, small amount basis. You're unaware of it. We're all unaware of it. I always thought the food we took in constitutes 100% of what we have as energy in our body. But we know that we are up to around 80% transmuting the fields of the universe, the environment, the soul is taking some of it and so on. So this transmutation process is already going on within all of us. And now we're just learning to understand it and also to, in a way, improve its functioning. Now that we're starting to understand what we're doing, we don't have far to go, as Mr. Keshe has told us. We just need to fill that 80% gap. And of course, this is one of the main things. We're not going to stop feeding, but we're going to stop killing other entities to take their energy to sustain ourselves, which again is not part of the ethos of the universal community. So we're learning all these things. This is what the transmutation tests are about. And of course, we've seen someone actually, as it's been reported, I think in the last workshop, that someone in one of the groups has started or has achieved a transmutation. We haven't heard more details on it, but many people, and again, we're using this process in our communication. You think about someone and the next day they call you and say, I haven't heard from you in months. I thought about you yesterday and now today you're calling me. That's a transmutation of fields. And of course, we're all doing it every night when you go to sleep, or what we call the dream state, where the soul is expanding and interacting with fields of energy in the universe. We call it a dream, but it's actually the work of the physicality or the soul of physicality, or perhaps sometimes the soul itself. So this is a whole new world that we're opening up to. But the bottom line is to keep the Keshe Foundation free for humanity. We know it's been tried to be co-opted in a number of different ways in a number of different times. But Mr. Keshe has not come this far to sell out at this point. So we're moving forward and we invite you to participate. You never know, you may receive something. But again, most of the time we're just being guinea pigs, as he alluded to in the last teaching for humanity. And I'm sure in time you'll be thanked by humanity. And even if humanity doesn't recognize it, the universal community recognizes it. So perhaps we'll just stay sort of quiet in the background and allow things to move along. But we're part of this development of this entire process. So this again is a privilege and an honor to be part of these transmutation sessions. Hopefully you'll join us.
Very
Thank
good.
you, Mark. Okay, Rick, you want to say something?
Well, you can continue with transmutation if you like. We kind of missed the excerpt from the 561st Knowledge Seekers Workshop, but we can do that after transmutation if you're not done yet. So please carry on.
Yeah, I'll talk a little bit and we can go into that, one of the things I want to kind of follow up on what Mark was saying is that, the participation of world scientists. Now, as we have become aware of, much of the scientific body that we are accustomed to hearing from are opposing the unfolding of the new information and new science and technology that we are becoming so used to these days in Keshe Foundation. So who are these world scientists that Mark is referring to? It is, in a way, those who participate, because this is experiments we are conducting with the enhancement unit. All the participants connected through mobile phone or otherwise. These people are the scientists. They are conducting scientific experiments of a different type that our current crop of scientists are unwilling to extend them to do. They're stuck with the status quo, as they say. And so science is not something static and we know everything, kind of arrogance situation. It's an exploration through conducting, designing, and implementing experiments. And that's exactly what these transmutation test participation are. It's scientific exploration by those who are interested in extending the science. Otherwise, we can call them the scientists. And so this is very important that we look at science in a way of like curiosity, exploration, and growth and all that. It's not a dogma. Yes, we start with a belief that we are conducting the experiment and we can some hunch, we can call it belief and all that, but in the end that has to be verified, and this is science. It's the proclamation of dogmas are things these days there is a plethora of these kind of dogma. This is this, and you must believe this, and these kind of things are has been done to create this prison effect we are so familiar with. But there is a lot more beyond these prison walls we have erected through science and religion and other social systems. So we are the participants, those who are conducting these experiments, and they are these world-class scientists that Mark was referring to. And, yes, this is important, but Mr. Keshe is bringing us different aspect of the theoretical sides of, these are the things that are possible, let's say. We can, one of them is that, as a theory, we can say, well, yes, we can live without food. Yes, it's let's say a hypothesis. We can call it a hypothesis. And then we go on and try to implement it and see whether it's really true. And this is where we conduct some experiment. We see some result. Well, some of it is working, some of it is not. I'm getting skinnier. I mean, I'm even talking about what I have done myself. I can actually do quite a bit without food nowadays. And but at the beginning there was a little bit of change in my losing of weight, but it has stabilized and all that. But the thing is that so we start from a belief or a theory and other things, and then we work it out towards, yes, we can do energy transfer. The food is actually energy transfer, and we can do it without food. So, and I'll from here we can go a little bit deeper into this physical and energy side of the equation, is in the sense that we have these neutron energy that Mr. Keshe went into quite a bit of detail last time, and which is the physical manifestation of a certain amount of energy in this universe, dictated by the universal condition, or the center of the universe, the soul of the universe. And this neutron condition is essentially a piece of this energy. We can think of it as kind of like making bread. If we make bread, especially the round kind from the part of the world I come from, the flat round kind, you make small balls of it and then you roll them into flat breads. And so the basic balls for making these breads is, you can think of it as the neutron. It's the physical manifestation of a certain quantity. And this need not to be the same in another environment of another universe. As to how we assemble these breads or pieces of balls called neutrons into different aggregate materials, such as different metals and other elements, and create complex structure as a human being or something, so inanimate object. This depends on the environment and the intention and the effort by those who are in that environment. So there are external conditions, let's say the planetary condition here and the condition of the solar system and the galaxy and so forth, which dictates the forms that we take and the forms we make. Using this basic energy aggregation, which is which we know as neutron, from which the decayed form is the proton and electron, and a number of assembled neutron, proton, electrons we know as various elements. But in the end, when we look at the energy world, we are essentially transmuting energy into material of various kinds at various levels of aggregation. But in the end, the energy that we are dealing with has much more flexibility. It's not, we don't have a specific aggregation as we have in this universe. If we are operating with energies, then instead of neutron level manifestation and the various aggregation of it to whatever levels we want, we have the possibility of traversing across universes, because the aggregation of these energies into neutron type basic form is different in other universes. So our basic building block becomes a bit different, so that what we build on that is going to be a bit different too. So, but in order to achieve that, we have to be able to operate at the energy level, or the field level, where you don't have this specific type of aggregation that we know as neutron. So, so the transmutation in different environment requires a different degree of flexibility, and the maximum possible flexibility exists in the energy level or the field level. And so once we can go from our current material form into the energy form that our soul is well aware of, and as we develop our connection with the soul, we can operate at this energy level and then come to the physical manifestation, the transmutation that the word that we have on this slide. So the transmutation can be, I mean, of different orders of sophistication, I think, for lack of a better word. And so the more we are used to the higher level energy, the more capable we become in doing this transmutation. We can do, and some of us, have done, certain changes onto our physical body with or without the assistance of the transmutation that we go through in our transmutation experiments with the enhancement unit. We have been able to change, as Mark pointed out, make physical changes, remove diseases and various things, and have developed control over our hunger, and the more of which is to come in the coming 3 months of sessions. So you have this opportunity to further extend these capacities we have, this awareness we can develop of our soul, to go from very basic level of transmutation of fixing little things in our body to a different scale or different order of magnitude of transmuting from the field to the material manifestation. It can be within our body, and then the question arises, can it be outside our body? Can we manifest a material object? So, and how does all the details of, let's say, manifest a piece of rock? How does all the details of the rock structure come together? What is the blueprint? Where do we get it? And so the energy of transmutation and the information of transmutation all lies within the field. And how do we access the field? That's also part of our learning how to transmute. And how sophisticated we can be when it comes to transmutation is how much information and the associated energy we have access to or we can gather together. And this depends on our trust in our ability of the soul, ability to access the field of the universe. And it's when we do it, it's an exhilarating experience, just like any science invention would be. So let's do our scientific experiments as much as we can, as much as we are willing to believe in our ability and believe in our ability to extend the frontier of science by our own participation. We can go long distance, and we are actually at the precipice of making such a big journey in a very little period of time. So let's help each other in learning how to transmute and see where we can go. Thank you very much. Okay, Rick, you can go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say thank you, Mosfek, that idea of removing the stethoscope, and hopefully they'll replace it with the plasmatic headphones so that they can not listen with the physicality so much, that they can start to see through the eye of the soul the energies and the emotions in the dimension of energy. So thank you for that example. I thought that was apropos.
Thank you. All right, let's move on.
Perhaps tie into the pulse of the universe instead of the pulse of the physicality.
There we go.
Let's go to the 561st Knowledge Seekers Workshop, and we have an excerpt to play from that. So let me get that set up here. And I think we are ready to go.
Explain another way. When the matter is created, the crystal structure that you explained, when the light reflects in the point that it reflects to the source, to the, like when the all the fields come together in the center, when the crystal structure is created. When this light travels like its distance from A to B to find its Magritte balance, and it's a point that it exactly becomes like a source, and then it reflects.
It becomes like a,
to the source.
it's very much like a proton and electron. And it has a limitation of the travel. It's like it gives a dimension of physicality at the point of return. And this is what we see in most of the structures with light. This is how we create laser light. We focus back the lights in and concentrate it in one dimension. But in a plasma condition, the point of the field in Magritte positioning, reaching a point in a way, if you look at a fountain, where the water goes up, it goes to the point when it can go according to the field strength which is coming up with, and reaches a point and then it breaks and it falls back down. That's the point, that tip point of the change does not come back down on the side of the water, it splashes over. That point of change is the balanced positioning of the gravity and the field pressure of the water. It's the same with the creation of the neutron. When it splits, you have the proton and the creation of electron at a point where the field cannot go any further. And the others accommodated to be in that position. Other field forces. And this is exactly what it is. With the light, with the fields, you have certain strength which goes. This is what I said in the past that needs to be understood in totality. The creation, the size of our universe is dictated by the fields which come from the center to the boundary of the universe, in what we call carbon-14, which converts in the structure of balance of the point that it diverges and converts back in. And if you understand this, that all the fields of the central universe continuously maintain this field force to keep the shape and the boundary of the universe, then you understand the love of God, the fields of the Creator passes through all of us. Because these fields have to go through you, me, my soul, my physicality, to be able to reach to the boundary, to create that boundary. It doesn't zigzag around me. So at any point I receive the beauty of the Creator within me. As much as I receive food, I receive energy from the sun. That central field force of the galaxy and that field force of the creation and the creator, it is within me. It passes me. So I'm never left alone. If this is a central line of the universe, and the field from this goes to a position that continuously keeps the shape of the universe, does not matter where I branch from another line from there that led to a galaxy, an Earth, and then me, this field still comes because it has to confirm the dimension and the position. So I receive the love of the Creator at any point, at any time. I'm not left alone. Because if it was not there, there would have been a hole in the universe, You understand? So
exactly. Thank you.
This is what is the position of the. We always say, you know, we are alone. We're never alone, because as long as this planet exists, as long as this universe exists, the fields from the center have to dictate to dimensional creation. And at this point, when the field force of the universe is the unicos is there, then it flows like a back, as I said, like the fountain, which then itself creates a new dimension of life. In the future, I will teach you how to understand where the fields are coming from. Are they from the reflection or are they from the center? And which one you can use to reach to the center, to the creator. So when we are alive, we are always, without that field coming from the center, the universe cannot exist. And if we have the universe which is daily, every day, it has to have a field which balances with the center. It just doesn't happen. It has to be a reaction and interaction with the environment. And in that position, we always, does not matter where we are, receive the love of the Creator. The energies of the Creator. This is what I call the hydrogen. And then you have all these reflections, which is carbon-14, and then you have the reflection from the surface, which creates the carbon-60. And we are never left alone, because we always receive as part of the spectrum. This is what I always say, we eat 20%, 80% comes from the environment, and part of that 80% is the energy from the Creator, because it has to go through us to confirm the existence of the universe. So we are always receiving from the source. And if in understanding of that knowledge, we reach the point of the maturity, we can get back on this track as it goes back, find our way to our Creator. And then when you come, we become part of the total creation. I hope this answered your question.
Okay, that's our excerpt from the last Knowledge Seekers Workshop, number 561. And now I think we have the knowledge and understanding from that workshop with Stefania. Or maybe not. Stefania, are you there, or shall we skip this part?
This is MOSFET. I'll talk a little bit because this part is very nice and very dense in a way, and but this is.
Excuse me, Mashak, would you like some background music to play and softly in the background with the video as well?
Why not?
Okay, let's try it.
I'm not a singer, but I'll try my best. So one of the things that Mr. Keshe mentioned here is really the materialization part. How does materialization happen? In a way, from field to materialization, or field to matter state. So you have the central energy that's creating a magnetical effect. It can be from the creator, and it can be from the creator of the creator of the creators, which can be us as well. So as we expand our field, there is a point that comes, just like the water coming out of a pipe or some fountain, and the environmental condition or the outside field pressure acts from outside to inside against this field coming from the center. So the two are opposing forces, and which dictates the boundary condition of the material that's the field that's pushing. One field is pushing out and one field is pushing in. So the two together dictates the boundary, and with sufficient pressure there can be a materialization of the field, because it's kind of like, think of vapor is I'll give the analogy of vapor and solid objects. If you have vapor, if you contain by cooling down, if you can contain the motion of the particles, you go to the liquid state, and then if you further constrain it, it becomes solid. So similarly, if the field coming out from inside and the pressure from outside is sufficient, it will create a material surface or material manifestation. We can call it the atom, we can call it our skin, doesn't matter. It's a different level of materialization, but this field pressure is essentially bringing together field in a type of formation which we call the material world. But the field can extend to the end of the universe, but opposing field creates a condition of the surface or materialization. So this is a very intriguing thing, because the hydrogen, which is creating the field pushing out, and the carbon-14 is the spacing between the magnetical and the gravitational, and 60, which is reflecting back, which is the materialization, crystalline materialization. So in this short description that Mr. Keshe did, he covered a lot of material and he said that he's going to go into detail about it, but it's a first step of our understanding of how field becomes matter in a very concrete and concrete, in terms of concrete means, in terms of the material we understand, hydrogen, carbon-14 and carbon-60. And the carbon-60 gives the three-dimensional structure to it. When we think in terms of carbon-12, we think in terms of the ring of carbon. But when we think in terms of carbon-60, it's the 3D form, the complete, the balls instead of a circle. So it's the full materialization of things. And so, it's very interesting. It ties a lot of things together. And the beauty of it is you can explain it to anybody, just taking a pipe and creating a fountain by pointing it up, and then just showing the flow of the water as it goes up or outwards, and as the gravity pulls the water down in the formation of the fountain that we are so familiar with. So you can describe the whole materialization process by very simple tools and mechanisms, and not just for our own understanding, but a child can be exposed to it. in no time virtually. So it's really fun to like do these kind of things, or not only conceive of these kind of experiments, but show people how actually fields work. So I just wanted to bring this for those who want to talk about plasma science to others in very simple terms, with a pipe and a fountain, creating a fountain with a pipe, and talk about the whole material manifestation. I hope this helps. Thank you very much.
Well, you timed that good with the video. Hope the music wasn't too distracting for you.
It was good, someday I may be able to sing, but until then, this is all I can do.
Poetry's fine.
Yes.
Okay, we'll move on to the next thing.
Thanks, Rick. This is Dean again. So we're now talking about the next sessions of the transmutations, which are going to be a nutrition and wellness transmutation test. And Mr. Keshe is talking about doing 2 to 4 hour sessions using this nutrition and wellness. And I would imagine that he will be testing many different applications and all sorts of things in the background with the souls that are present. Mosfeq asked about the transmutation and what we experienced. Some of us went into the transmutation test a couple of weeks ago, and I, for one, experienced some sensations. I was in the test and I did what Mr. Keshe spoke about, where I actually put some ganses in my hands, and I had some CO2 and in my hand, in one side of my hand. I think it was the left hand side, if I remember. And I experienced some conditions that were like remote viewing. So for having a full transmutation where you go from one side to another and you go into from physical through the transmutation and coming back into a physical into another form, I wouldn't say I did this. However, I did experience viewing many situations, very many different places, and very many different people and beings, and all sorts of things came into my conscious mind, into the soul aspect, I suppose, going into the energy form. There was one point where I went in, and then I suddenly was aware of myself, and I thought, "Oh, I've come out," and I come back into the awareness state of physicality, and I thought, "What should I try this time?" I was going to try something different, and I was led on the bed when I was going through these, or sat up on the bed, I should say, going through this transmutation test. And then I thought, I know what to do. I'll try something because I have, as you know, I have some magrabs around. So Mr. Keshe has always spoken about the energy, the true energy of the magrav is actually on top of it. So if you can imagine, I then led down on the bed and I put the magrav underneath myself. And then I went back into the session. I then started to control my breathing again, and just gently let myself drift into this new phase. And I felt something very, I sensed something. I was completely away in physicality again, and I didn't sense my body whatsoever. But there was one situation that I went into that I wasn't expecting. And I'm not sure I should say it here. I need to speak with Mr. Keshe first. That was, I don't know, it was a situation that I really wasn't expecting. And I suppose it was, I was in an energy form following others as we were walking up these steps, and nothing to do with what you're thinking. It was something totally different. And it was something that I really wasn't expecting, but I felt like I experienced something that was part of something that was going on in the background. What that was, or whether I was the captain of a ship on something else, I don't know. But I definitely experienced something. I'm not going to explain it exactly what it was here because I don't think this is a time, place, or position for that. As I said, I'd need to speak with Mr. Keshe just to see if he was okay to release that. So I know that I experienced something, and for the rest of us to go into these nutrition and wellness transmutation tests, I think that maybe we need to balance the emotions, we need to balance the body, and if we are still, as Mr. Keshe said, and it's spoken about today, if we don't lose, if we don't commit ourselves to the full transmutation, we stay in the physicality. We stay very grounded. If we have that connection that we can't let go, then we don't experience a full transmutation. So maybe that we need to have this wellness and nutrition so that it's a more gradual process. So we balance the physical emotions and the physical body in the soul of the physicality. And then maybe once this is balanced and we feel at ease with ourselves, and we become well, and we know with this technology, and this is a very big thing that I think many people may have missed, is life expectancy. What do you expect? Where do you want to be? Because we know with these plasmatic conditions, you're involved in a field interaction with the soul, and the soul only knows unconditional beauty and 100% wellness, that connection and purity, and it would only know how to keep you in complete balance. So even though this is a nutrition and wellness transmutation test in the physical form, I should imagine, there will also be an aspect where the nutrition, the wellness will be with the soul. And when that physical soul of the physicality, the soul of physicality reaches that balance point, then I think we will find that many more people will experience the transmutation the next stage on. We can go in a physical form in transportation. So this would be spaceships, and this would be flying cars, and all these sorts of things. And then we can but the souls that go into these positions, once you go out into a different environment, you're going to start to experience an elevation. Then you're going to start to feeling field strengths that are connected to the soul. And I think that you will start to experience many more. It all ends up in the same place. We all go to the same position once we start to realize what this technology really is. So Mr. Keshe is doing on November the 22nd, 2024. He's doing a wellness and a nutrition test. Now, Mr. Keshe did speak about the people that were in the transmutation test a couple of weeks ago, going into another position, that he was going to invite people to come back and have another go and to experience something again. So, and I think this is this Friday, if it's still happening. So I believe this to be still happening. Is this correct, Mark, in your understanding?
Yes.
It is, yeah. It's still. So as far as we know from Mr. Keshe, he's going to invite all the participants that were in the last transmutation to come back. And I think he was going to put us all in one big group, whereas before we've been put into different little smaller groups. I think this time he was saying we need to keep quiet, and we will all be going into one bigger group again, and to experience the bigger interaction of of the whole soul aspect of the larger totality of the group, I suppose. So I'm looking forward to that with Mr. Keshe and all the other knowledge seekers that will be present. If you can, obviously the November sessions that we're talking about here, if you can be present and you can, I don't see any prices or anything, so I don't know if this is the normal prices or what this is going to cost. I think I heard something about 1,500 euros or something for these sessions.
I believe it's 600, Dean.
Is it 600? What, for each session, Rick, or?
Yes.
Okay, so it's 600 euros for each session again. And bring your soul. And it's been spoken about. Many people have gone into these transmutations and experienced much wellness, nutrition, balancing in their physical forms. You know, we've had people that have had conditions that have, you know, practically impossible to mend, I suppose. I don't want to say it's anything to do with medical, but you know that they can't. You know, it's not something you could do very easily in that form of going into a medical position. Whereas when you go into the soul aspect, the soul is pure and you know is only knows this pure balance. So when they go into this position, they come back. So they go in, they touch the soul, then they come back into the physicality, and the soul is brought them back without the condition that they went in with. So, and this could be an emotional attachment to something that has caused the condition in the physicality. So maybe you balance it on a soul level, and when you come back in that precise moment, because we're all transmuting constantly all the time, and it's just tapping in and being aware of it. So when you come back, you can come back into this nutrition and wellness condition or in the physical form. And as I touched on it a little bit earlier on, this technology, although we can't claim anything, but the soul is forever. So how long do you want to be in physicality? Once you tap into and you understand what this technology really can do, then you start to realize that it changes the whole dynamics of being physical on planet Earth. And it opens up many new dimensions and possibilities of the physicality and the soul in transmutation, being present in the moment as you wish. And what is your desire? What is your wish? And this is where we open up things that have not been discussed too much before. You know, we've all been told with our belief systems that the theology we've been given that there's a time, place, and position where you start and you end. This technology is telling us that's not the case. The position is on a soul aspect that it's eternal. And so in the physical form, how long do you want to be present? This technology will give us the ability, once you tap into it, and whether you're using plasmatic waters, Ganses, Magrabs, and all the other technologies that Mr. Keshe has brought forward, transmutations and everything else, it is giving us the opportunity to change the position and the understanding for humanity and for yourselves. So if you can be present on the 22nd of November 2024, bring your soul for this nutrition and wellness transmutation test. And maybe some of us will go to this planet that we're viewing on screen now. Maybe so. Okay, thank you, Rick. Mark, or anybody else, I don't know if anybody else would like to say something. Thank you.
Needs and wishes. We, the Universal Council, give freely for our soul and support the Iranian and all government of the world in recognizing and implementing the path of peace for humanity and for all beings in existence too. Thank you, thank you. It's time for all communities give us your needs for support us for got it solutions. Remember it, all around the world, all souls around the world, all souls around the universe is connected to the mother, connected to the creator. Of course, when you believe, you create. For that reason, all you need give us, of course, is all you find the solution. You got it, the solution. Because unifying the all souls is unified to the creator. That moment is very, very important because around the world and that planet is not better time for them. Many leaders need share your power, and maybe forgot it's the same energy. It's all is one. Please, that moment, continue unifying all the time, most consciously about the you do, about the behavior, about your soul, about the existence, because when they all connected, you'll consciously, of course, give all around the world, give all our souls the feel need for continue growing, for continue elevated, for continue change your behavior. Of course, you change your behavior. Of course, you change your message. Of course, you elevate the soul of your message, and of course, you elevate the soul. All people follow you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and please give your wishes again for all members of Universal Council, because all is one. Thank you. Any other comment about? Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth. So this is Dean here. So the needs and wishes, as Elizabeth has just been explaining, how important it is for us to understand, and we've been saying this many times today, the possibilities of our own field strength from the soul, and we can connect and we can help, and I think that's maybe an enhance the leaders, for them to touch and communicate with their souls, to bring peace within inside. We know that for many, everything is an energy transfer. Everything is an energy transfer. So we receive energy and we give energy. When we're in balance, when we're in alignment, you'll see that you'll feel that the soul will receive energies from other souls, and you'll have a surplus of energy. And then this surplus of energy you can give to another soul to elevate them, for them to receive what they need to bring them into balance. But you can't push it upon people. So it's not like you grab the physicality and you say, hey, you've got to do this, you've got to do that, I've got to, it's not like a bank account where you pay the money. It's not like that. This is a position where you go to the soul aspect of man, and you make a need, you make a wish for the other to receive the field energy, what they need. And then you make it available from your soul. They, the soul of them, will receive if they accept. And then when they accept this energy pack, this energy from your soul, or the collective souls that you've tapped into, then it's a bit like the magnets And I do this many times where I have some round magnets and some all different shaped magnets. And when you place one magnet or two or three magnets on a table and you hold one above, or you just sometimes I just hold a magnet in my hand and I just twist it to the side, and all the other magnets just start dancing. They just move. And when you've got round magnets, particularly, or a spherical, some sort of spherical shape, you'll find that they actually twist on their center. They actually twist, and sometimes you can't even see it moving, but they are moving. And this is your soul, and you have this ability to use the gravitational magnetic fields interactions from the creator and from the souls all around you to be able to touch the other soul. And then once you touch the other soul, you become that magnet. And all the other souls then will receive, and then the physical form has to move. Has to move. Mr. Keshe came along many years ago, many years ago, and became that magnet. He took a position from interactions of bringing peace to humanity. And each fragment of that magnet, which is each of the knowledge seekers and each of the people listening to these very words, you receive from that man, you receive from the soul of the creator, part of it. And as Mr. Keshe said, when you break and open a magnet, it doesn't diminish its energy source. It's a part of, it's the same. And so you get a part of the energy. And it's the same, just a smaller aspect of it in physical form, but in energy form, you have that spark, that position, that diamond structure, that black hole, whatever you want to call it. You have that position that is a direct link to the creator, and you can use this to elevate yourself and elevate the others. So a need and a wish from, we look at the picture on screen. We have a blue heart, we have a red heart. So we have the red heart of physicality, and then we have the blue heart that is the non-physicality, it is the soul of man. And when you put the soul of man back in place into that red hole of the heart, of the physicality, it completes it. And it becomes that unified field of the totality and the connection to the universal family, the universal community, the Keshe family, and your family, and our family, humanity, and all the created creatures around us. So connect to it, have a need and a wish, and bring it forward to the Universal Council, and we will amplify it and give from our souls for it to become much more powerful and create this this peace within. This peace within, because once we receive that ourselves in this moment, then we all receive part of it, as Mr. Keshe was explaining just a little while ago. So thank you, Elizabeth. I hope that's enough, and I'll let somebody else speak now. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next slide. Thank you. We are here to serve, not to be served. The Universal Council. Thank you so much. Thank you, every soul in existence, because we are the soul of the peace. Thank you so much. And please continue elevate the all souls, the all leaders, because need all souls be part of the peace, of course, be part of the soul of the totality, the Keshe Foundation. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you, Lisbeth and others. others of the Universal Council and support members for their interactions today. Get up my final screen here. This has been the 350th One Planet, One Nation, One Race for Justice and World Peace here on Tuesday, October 29th, 2024. So we'll be back again next week with more of the same. Thank you for attending today. And our next public teaching workshop will be the Keshe Plasma Reactor Group, which starts tomorrow, Wednesday, October 30th, at the 7 a.m. Central European Time, and that's equivalent to 11 p.m. Pacific Time today. That's Tuesday, October 29th. So there is a 1 hour difference in the time conversion due to the Central European summertime changing to Central European time, but the North America times have not changed over until Sunday coming up, November 3rd, I think it is, or 2nd. Okay, so just to keep in mind that the times will be a little erratic for the Keshe Plasma Reactor groups, so check your local times. And also for the Knowledge Seekers workshop coming up on Thursday will be the same basic thing. It'll start at 9 a.m. Central European time, and you'll have to convert to your local time depending if you're involved in the European system or the North American system. Okay, I think that's it for now. Other than we'll go out with our usual flight enhancement spaceship unit. And again, thank you everybody for attending today. And I think that's it for now. Thank you very much to all the members and support members of the Universal Council for another wonderful presentation here. Bye for now.